She already wants you. That part is done. But here is what most older men completely miss. The moment a younger woman starts feeling that pull toward you, she does not just fall into your arms. She sets a trap. 2 questions. That is all it takes. 2 seemingly innocent, casual questions that will either make her fall for you completely or make her walk away forever. And the worst part? Most men have absolutely no clue they are being tested. Here is something that might surprise you. A study published in the journal Evolutionary Psychology found that women across multiple cultures consistently rate emotional intelligence and composure as more attractive than physical appearance, especially when evaluating older male partners. And a 2021 survey by the dating platform Zoosk revealed that 56% of women between the ages of 25 and 34 said they preferred dating men who were at least 7 years older. Not 5, not 6, 7 or more. So the attraction is real. The preference is documented. Women genuinely do desire older men. But here is the part nobody talks about. The desire alone is not enough to make her stay. Because every woman who has ever been drawn to an older man knows the risks. She knows the stereotypes. She knows that some older men are emotionally mature, grounded, and genuinely worth her time. And she also knows that some are just older versions of the same immature boys she already rejected. So how does she figure out which one you are? She asks 2 questions, not a 20-page questionnaire, not a background check. 2 questions that sound completely harmless on the surface, but carry enough weight to determine whether she leans in closer or quietly removes herself from the situation. And I am going to break down both of them for you today, word by word, layer by layer, so that by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what is happening the next time a woman looks you in the eye and says something that feels a little too casual to be casual. But before I reveal those 2 questions, I need to explain why these tests exist in the first place. Because once you understand the psychology behind the test, the questions themselves will make perfect sense. And more importantly, you will know exactly how to respond in a way that makes her feel safe, seen, and absolutely certain she chose the right man. Let me tell you something about women that a lot of men get wrong. When a woman tests you, she is not trying to trick you. She is not playing games for entertainment. She is protecting herself. And when a younger woman is attracted to an older man, that need for protection doubles. Think about it from her perspective for a second. She is going against the grain. Her friends might raise an eyebrow. Her family might have opinions. Society has a whole collection of labels ready to slap on her the moment she walks into a restaurant holding the hand of a man with some silver in his hair. She is taking a social risk just by being interested in you. So, before she takes that risk publicly, she needs to know it is worth it privately. Dr. David Buss, an evolutionary psychologist at the University of Texas, has spent decades studying mate selection. His research consistently shows that women use what he calls costly signaling assessment. In plain language, that means women look for signals that are hard to fake. Anyone can say the right words. Anyone can dress well for a first date. But how a man responds under subtle pressure reveals who he actually is underneath the performance. And that is exactly what these 2 questions are designed to do. They bypass the rehearsed lines. They skip past the charm. They go straight to the core of who you are. And the beautiful thing about it is that if you are genuinely the man she hopes you are, you do not need to prepare a script. You just need to understand what she is really asking. Because the words she uses are never the real question. The real question is hidden underneath, and that is where most older men completely fumble. Now let me show you exactly how this plays out. This is the one. This is the question that separates the men who have actually done the inner work from the men who just got older without growing up. And I promise you, she will ask some version of this. Maybe not on the first date, maybe not even the second. But at some point, when she is starting to feel something real, she will look at you, maybe while stirring her drink, maybe during a quiet moment in the car, and she will say something like, "So, what happened with your last relationship?" Now, on the surface, this sounds like normal getting to know you conversation, and most men treat it exactly that way. They launch into a story. They explain the timeline. They mention how long it lasted, what went wrong, and usually within about 90 seconds, they start talking about what the other person did. And that right there is the test. She is not asking for a history lesson. She is not asking for the plot summary of your previous relationship. She is asking one hidden question that matters more than anything else. Can this man take accountability? Because here is what she already knows from experience. A man who blames his ex for everything is a man who will eventually blame her for everything. A man who says, "She was crazy," or "She just changed," or "She stopped appreciating me," is a man who has never looked inward. And a woman who is attracted to an older man is attracted precisely because she expects more depth, more self-awareness, more emotional honesty than what she has found in younger men. A 2019 study from the Gottman Institute found that one of the strongest predictors of relationship success is something they call accepting influence. It means being able to acknowledge your own role in conflicts. And when a woman asks you about your past relationship, she is checking for exactly that. Can you talk about it without turning your ex into a villain? Can you acknowledge what you learned? Can you show that the experience made you better instead of just bitter? I once had a friend tell me about a date she went on with a man 15 years older than her. She said everything was going perfectly. He was confident, well-spoken, attentive. She was genuinely attracted to him. Then she asked the question, and he spent the next 12 minutes explaining how his ex-wife took everything and turned the kids against him and was impossible to live with. He never once mentioned a single thing he could have done differently. Not one. She told me she smiled, finished her wine, and never saw him again. 12 minutes. That is how fast it ended. Not because he had a failed marriage. She expected that. Not because he had pain around it. She understood that. But because in 12 minutes of talking, he demonstrated zero ability to reflect on his own behavior. And she knew exactly what that meant for her future with him. Now contrast that with the man who says something like, "We grew apart. I was too focused on work for a long time, and I did not give the relationship the attention it needed. I have learned a lot since then about what matters." That response is not dramatic. It is not theatrical. But it communicates three things she desperately needs to hear. 1, he is honest. 2, he has grown. 3, he is capable of being wrong without falling apart. And that third one is enormous. Because a man who can be wrong without crumbling is a man who can handle conflict without turning it into a war. And for a woman who is already navigating the complexities of an age gap relationship, that sense of emotional safety is everything. So the first test is about your past. But here is the thing. The second question is about your future. And it is even more dangerous. This one feels like it comes out of nowhere. You might be 3 dates in. Things are going beautifully. The chemistry is obvious. She is laughing at your jokes, leaning in when you talk, finding excuses to touch your arm. And then she hits you with it, sometimes playfully, sometimes with a slight edge in her voice. "Why me, though? Why not someone your own age?" And I need you to understand something crucial. She is not asking because she is insecure. She is asking because she needs to know why you chose her, specifically her, and not just the idea of a younger woman. This is the question that exposes everything. Because the wrong answer to this question will destroy months of built-up attraction in a single sentence. Let me explain what the wrong answers sound like. "You are just so beautiful." Wrong. That tells her you chose her for her appearance, and appearance fades, and she knows it. "Women my age are too complicated." Catastrophically wrong. That tells her you cannot handle an equal, and she is now wondering if you see her as easier to control. You make me feel young again. Also wrong. That tells her she is a tool for your ego, a fountain of youth you are drinking from, not a person you are building something with. Every single one of those answers, no matter how smoothly delivered, fails the test. Because every single one of those answers is about what she does for you, not about who she is to you. Research from Dr. Helen Fisher, a biological anthropologist and senior research fellow at the Kinsey Institute, shows that long-term romantic attachment is sustained not by physical attraction alone, but by what she calls deep identity connection. That means a person feels truly chosen when they believe their partner values their specific personality, their mind, their humor, their way of seeing the world, not just a category they happen to fall into. When a woman asks, "Why me and not someone your own age?" she is really asking, "Do you see me as a whole person? Or am I just a younger option?" And the answer that passes this test is not complicated. It just has to be real. It has to be specific. It has to be about her. Something like, honestly, age was never the thing that caught my attention. It was the way you think, the way you challenge me. I have met plenty of people my own age who do not make me feel the way I feel when I am talking to you. That answer works because it removes age from the equation entirely. It tells her that she was not selected from a category. She was chosen as an individual, and that distinction is everything. I have a cousin who married a man 11 years older than her. She told me that the night she knew he was the one was the night she asked him this exact question. She said she asked it almost as a dare, expecting him to stumble. And he looked at her and said, "I am not with you because of your age. I am with you because every time I am around you, I become a better version of myself. That has nothing to do with how old either of us is." She said she almost cried at the table, not because it was poetic, but because for the first time, she felt like someone understood that she was not a novelty. She was a choice, a deliberate, specific, irreplaceable choice. And that is what this question is designed to find out. Are you with her because she is young, or are you with her because she is her? Now, here is something fascinating that ties both of these questions together, and it is the part most men never realize. Both questions are actually asking the same thing. They are just approaching it from two different directions. The first question, about the past relationship, is asking, "Are you emotionally mature?" The second question, about why her and not someone his own age, is asking, "Are you emotionally honest?" And emotional maturity plus emotional honesty equals one thing: emotional safety. That is what every single one of these tests comes down to. Safety, not physical safety. Emotional safety. The kind of safety where a woman feels like she can be vulnerable without being punished for it, where she can express her needs without being called needy, where she can have a bad day without being told she is too much. A study from the University of Virginia found that emotional safety was ranked as the #1 factor in relationship satisfaction among women ages 22 to 40. Not financial security, not physical attraction, not shared hobbies, emotional safety. And when a woman is entering a relationship with an age gap, that need for emotional safety becomes even more critical because the power dynamics are already uneven by default. She knows you have more life experience. She knows you probably have more financial stability. She knows that in the eyes of the world, you hold more social capital. So she needs to know that you will not weaponize any of that. She needs to know that your maturity is real and not just a costume you wear to attract younger partners. And the only way she can find that out is by testing you, not with drama, not with arguments, with two simple questions that give you every opportunity to show her exactly who you are. The men who pass these tests are not the ones who say the perfect thing. They are the ones who say the honest thing, the real thing. The thing that proves they have actually sat with their own flaws, made peace with their own past, and are choosing this woman for reasons that go far beyond the surface. Now, here is the part that makes all of this worth understanding. When a man passes both of these tests, something shifts in a woman. It is almost visible. Her guard comes down. Her voice gets softer. Her eyes stay on yours a little longer. She stops performing and starts connecting, because for the first time, she feels like she does not have to protect herself from you. And that is when the real relationship begins. Not the dating phase, not the getting to know you phase, the real phase. The one where she shows you the parts of herself she does not show anyone else, the fears she does not post about online, the dreams she is almost embarrassed to say out loud, the kind of intimacy that has nothing to do with the bedroom and everything to do with trust. Psychologist Dr. Sue Johnson, the creator of emotionally focused therapy, calls this secure bonding. She describes it as the moment when a person stops asking, "Am I safe with you?" and starts saying, "I am safe with you." And according to her decades of clinical research, that shift is the single most important turning point in any romantic relationship. So when you understand these two questions for what they really are, you stop seeing them as obstacles. You start seeing them as invitations. She is not trying to catch you in a mistake. She is trying to give you a chance to prove that you are worth the risk she is about to take. And if you can show her that, honestly, calmly, without defensiveness or performance, you will not just pass the test. You will become the man she tells her best friend about at 2 in the morning, with a smile she cannot explain. So let me bring this full circle. When a woman desires an older man, she already knows she wants you. That part was never in question. The questions she asks are not about whether she is attracted. They are about whether you deserve the depth of what she is willing to offer. The first question checks your past, the second checks your present, and your answers determine your future together. The men who understand this do not scramble for clever responses. They lead with honesty, own their history, and make the woman in front of them feel like the most specific, most intentional choice they have ever made. That is not a technique. That is not a strategy. That is just what it looks like when a man has genuinely grown into someone worth choosing. Now, if any of this resonated with you, I need you to do something before you leave. Think about one man in your life who needs to hear this. A friend, a brother, someone who keeps wondering why things are not clicking despite being a good man. Send him this video. Not because I want views, but because the difference between a man who understands women and a man who keeps misreading them is often just one conversation, one piece of insight, one moment of clarity that changes everything. Be the person who gives him that moment. And speaking of understanding what women are really communicating, there is something I did not cover today that is equally important, because women do not only test with words, they test with actions, with body language, with physical gestures that most men completely misinterpret. In fact, one of the most common and most misunderstood signals a woman sends is a simple hug. But the way she hugs you, where she places her hands, how long she holds on, what she does right before she pulls away, all of that is telling you something specific. And if you are reading it wrong, you're missing crucial information about how she actually feels about you. I made an entire video breaking that down called, "When a Woman Hugs You, This is What She's Really Telling You," and it is playing on your screen right now. Trust me, after what you just learned today, that video is the perfect next step. Go watch it. You will never experience a hug the same way again.